So today, I'm thrilled do the last Kiln podcast in our office, Avenue Trudel, with Pierre Lavarague from Trust Wallets, head of revenue at Trust Wallets. Welcome, Pierre, on the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me here, Laszlo, and glad to have Trust Wallet to end the first season of your podcast here.
So yeah, Pierre, before we deep dive a little bit into a partnership, your vision of DeFi and the ecosystem, I would like to understand what's your background in crypto. How did it start? It seems you started by creating an exchange here in Station F in Paris in 2017. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit on your journey?
Yeah, no, definitely. This bring me back in the past for a couple of years now. I started crypto in 2017. I was still a student at this time, finishing my master's degree in finance. And I discovered Bitcoin, I think, for the first time after the Bitfinex hack during this year. I became curious about it kind of immediately, very different from what we were studying at this time at the school. I started to create kind of a small broker, then an exchange based in Paris, incubated in Station F, as you just mentioned it. It was a great adventure. We did that for 3 years and a half until 2021, I would say. Then the regulations changed, which was very good for the ecosystem and bigger player like Binance. But for startup, it was something very costly and expensive. So we decided to shut down the business at this time. And after that, I worked as a BD lead consultant for the BD part of some protocol, mostly on Solana. And liquid staking, portfolio management, a little bit of NFT marketplace at this time. So I would say in crypto since 2017.
And what was the regulation that changed? You mentioned, was it the PSAN license?
Yeah, exactly. When I started in 2017, no license were required. We just had to follow the best practice in terms of KYC, AML regulation to be in a good relationship with the bank and the regulators. We contributed a lot to the public and private consultation from the AMF in Paris. But then when the PSAN arrived, it was something very heavy for the small startup, the small structure. So it has been complicated for us to continue the business.
Makes sense. And then you went rapidly into it, but you went to Marinade, which was the largest liquid staking protocol at the time, competing with Lido. Can you explain why did you join Marinade in the first place? And what did you think of the Solana DeFi ecosystem?
Yeah, exactly. When I stopped my entrepreneurial adventure with Saito and the exchange, I was looking for a new challenge. In crypto and especially in DeFi, it was still what we call Solana summer in DeFi, where everything was perfectly aligned for the ecosystem. The TVL was booming, FTX was still alive, Alameda were pushing a lot of fun inside the ecosystem. So just by discussing with some people from the industry and with Repe, which is still the CEO and founder of Marinade, we finally and quickly be aligned about how I could help the project on the BD side to drive more TVL. At this time, Marinade was competing with Lido before the sunset the operation on Solana. I like Solana a lot. The fact it's a non-EVM chain gave them kind of I wouldn't say a competitive advantage, but close to that for most of the EVM chain. Because every time you have kind of a black swan event on Solana or in the industry in general, the fact of non-being EVM, it's gonna to protect the ecosystem, because you can't just migrate your code base, migrate your products on the next trending EVM chain just to chase liquidity or activity. All the builders inside this ecosystem, they had to show some resilience when something bad happened. So everyone stayed multiple times after Luna, after FTX, everyone stayed, continued to build, and this is why Solana recovered multiple times.
That's right. I mean, at least once along 2 years, but finally recovered. And then you moved to Trust Wallets. So why did you left Marinade and why did you join Trust Wallets at the time?
I think I did my time at Marinade. I enjoyed that a lot, especially on the for the intellectual part, working on a protocol. Regardless the protocol you are going to work for, you're going to become kind of a black belt on the subject you are working on. I was working on staking and liquid staking on Solana, so I increased my knowledge a lot on that field. But at some point, I wanted to discover something new, to work on another topic or the subject. So I had the opportunity to work at Trust Wallet, and I considered this was kind of the perfect challenge. I would say Wallet has, all the wallet, not just Trust Wallet, but all the wallet has a privileged position in the ecosystem, because if anyone wants to interact with DeFi, with Web3, they need a wallet. So this put the wallet as the very first experience for everyone in the industry who want to use staking. If someone wants to use Kiln, for example, they will use Kiln through a wallet. So of course it's better if it's through Trust Wallet, but this gave us kind of this specific position about being kind of a very generalistic in terms of approach. We are related to staking, to swap, now to RWA, to all the stablecoin, in the past NFTs. So yeah, it's very stimulating to work for a wallet.
And we'll come back from all of these topics, but I think I agree very much on what you say. Is this theory called the fat wallet theory from a couple of VCs on the East Coast, and which basically says that, and we personally think that the backend of blockchains might be commoditized, because blockchain is fixing a lot of these problems already, moving from money from A to B, automating a lot of flows, but the front end and the ecosystem that you use every day to interact with the a blockchain or any application running on top of it is capturing a lot of value. Is it, how do you see things, and do you think Trust Wallet could become the ultimate front end?
This remind me one of the discussion I had here at Kiln office during the Paris Blockchain Week. We had a panel, and a guy from another company shared some thoughts about it, and I think I agree perfectly with that vision. It's you can see the problem like a car manufacturing issue, where we have a lot of people building car, but very few people distributing the car. You can see all the protocol, all the infra provider like Kiln as building a lot of services. And to make these services available for mass market, we need to find the right distribution channel. And I think this is where wallets are the first component for that. Of course, in the future, you might have other distribution channel, but currently to make all the DeFi services, all the infra services available for the mass market or something close to that, it's where the wallets are playing a key role, where the value proposition is how we can highlight the right services for the right use case, how we can spot and find the services, the DeFi services, bringing the most value to the user, and to make it as easy as possible to be used. It can be staking, can be lending, can be swap, how we can package all of that with the easiest user experience possible to make everything simple from a user perspective.
And do you feel that there will be thousands of wallets with thousands of deeds, or there will be a few of them, or there will be one taking most of the user base?
I don't have a clear opinion on that right now. I think wallets are just at the beginning. We saw lots of explorating stuff. Trust Wallet is a generalistic wallet, so this means we are big enough to address most of the use case, but some wallet might be specialized. Let's say maybe in the future you will have more Web3 gaming experience, and maybe you will need some very dedicated Web3 wallets to enjoy and embrace the most advanced user experience for that specific use case. Maybe on the other segment, you will need another specific wallet. At Trust, we try to cover all the use case because we want to be the main hub, the one-stop shop for everyone. but we might not be the one bringing the most dedicated experience for that. It's like when you are comparing sometimes trust wallets and some smaller wallets who are pure player on a specific chain, they might bring kind of a better native experience for this ecosystem. But we are still at Trustweight. We are also covering that field. But in addition, we are covering all the ecosystem. So this is where we are positioning ourselves, right?
That makes sense. And you've been thriving among all the wallets. In fact, it seems you are the largest mobile wallet in the world with 15 million monthly active users. You also have a browser extension. How did you get so successful?
I think Trust Wallets is a kind of OG, well-known brand on the market. Trust Wallet has been launched in 2017 now. Binance acquired it in 2018. At this time, the wallet market, if you want to understand why Trust Wallet is so powerful now, so big, it's mostly because in the past, the initial team that just wanted to fix and to bring value on a specific things. If you look back in 2017, during the ICO summer, when everyone was doing ICO, everyone was participating, getting tokens. It was very difficult with the existing wallet at this time to get all your token inside the wallet. You had to go through multiple steps in order to just be able to see the wallets you were investing in. Trustweight came on mobile with a very easy indexing system where a lot of people have been able to consult and immediately get their token visible inside the wallets by removing this huge pain point. This has been a massive adoption from the beginning on that. Then we also have been the first real cross-chain wallet by supporting Bitcoin, EVM and non-EVM chain. And more important than that, I think Trust Wallets is here now for a very long time on this such privileged position. Sometimes we are not always right about the decision we are making. We are trying to iterate, but at the end, we never did something wrong against the user, against the philosophy we are going through. And this is also why people are trusting us right now in terms of product.
Right, it's in the name.
Yeah,
people are trusting you.
Exactly.
And how would you see the split between the browser extension and the mobile? Do you see, because you started as a mobile wallet, but then you want to the browser with a web kind of interaction? How do you see this split going? Do you see traction on the browser as well?
Yeah, we have definitely traction on both browser extension and mobile. It's not the same audience. As you mentioned, we are now, and we've been for a long time now, the largest mobile wallet. We have more than 15 million monthly active users, and I think 140 million downloads on Apple Store and Google Play. So the strategy at the beginning of being mobile first gave us an advantage for all the region in the world where the population is younger and more mobile friendly than computer friendly. So we have definitely traction on both sides, but not the same audience, or maybe not from the same part of or region of the world. You can see in Asia, for example, in Africa or LATAM, where the population is younger on average than in Europe or in the US, and they are more willing to use their phone. So this is where we have a lot of our user base. Of course, we have users in Europe, in North America, but still the country where the people are mobile first, it's where we have the biggest part for our user base right now.
And that's a very interesting use case that would point to my other questions is, what is the geographical split and the geographical representation of your users? But you seem to say that you have a lot of users in emerging countries, if we call them this way, but in LATAM, Africa, and Southeast Asia.
I mean, we have users all around the world, 100,000 of users, I would say in every region, CIS, MENA, Asia, LATAM, North America, Europe. We have globally, that the thing, it's by being a generalistic wallet, and every time we are launching a feature, of course, as all product-driven company, we try to drive some persona about our audience. But the thing is that our own persona are very different. So someone living in Nigeria or someone living in India doesn't fit the same persona as someone living in France, for example, or living in Canada or in Australia. So we always have to find what are the common ground on all these users, what are the common needs they have, why they are looking for crypto, why crypto could bring a better experience for securing their assets, improving the payment experience, and to try to solve that issue. What is the common issue, the common values these users are looking for when they're using a wallet?
Right. And one type of personalized use case you have in Nigeria or India that you mentioned is stablecoin.
Yeah.
Can you maybe explain why stablecoins are important in your eyes, or why holding stablecoins on Trust Wallet is important as well, and why it's emerging in these countries more than in France, for example?
Stablecoin is a key topic. It has been for us during the year, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be even bigger next year. Stablecoin, compared to the current fiat system, is more efficient on almost any comparison and any point you can compare. The thing is, even if it's better than the fiat system and the banking system, sometimes for a European country, the improvement, the marginal improvement, is not still strong enough to have a massive change from the population to shift from the old fiats to the new crypto stablecoin. But for more emerging countries where the banking facilities, banking environment is not as strong or as stable as we have in North America or in Europe, for them, stablecoin is a direct way for them to hedge against their own currency. Everyone suffer from inflation. In France, for example, people have been hurt by 5-7% inflation. So imagine how hard it is when you have double digit or more than 50% inflation with your own local currency. So in that country, people are using stablecoin, euro stablecoin or dollar stablecoin, because just by holding the stablecoin, they are protecting themselves, their purchasing power, their ability to invest, or just to not see their life savings having the value of that divided by 2 or 3 in a single year.
Right. And do you think that there's a space, mentioned euro stablecoin? Do you think there's a space for a euro stablecoin, and do you feel the demand for euro stablecoin in emerging countries?
I don't have so much data point for euro stablecoin in emerging countries. To be honest, USD stablecoin in emerging country is heavily dominant. They are dominating. I'm pretty sure they have more than 90%, maybe 99% of the market in that country. But still, I think euro stablecoin, especially in Europe with the MiCA regulation, and just about the habits of having every goods, every services labelized in euro when you want to pay something. Most of the people who are not in crypto, they are thinking in euro, not in USD. So just to have kind of a form of harmony between the habits they have with a traditional financial system and what crypto can bring, I think just for that, the euro stablecoin has a big big move to do. Yeah.
Right. One thing we did launch across the year is our ETH staking on-chain services. So the ability for Trust Wallet users to stake their ETH seamlessly and whatever the amounts on the Trust Wallet platform and on the earn section in the app if you're using the wallets. Can you explain a little bit what is this feature about, and also how is the traction of the product?
Yeah, for us, we are always looking for what is or are the best services we can integrate natively inside the app. Because in the past, and still today, you can use a wallet and look by yourself the DeFi services you want to use and to interact with. But we are considering it's also our mission to bring the top tier services natively inside the app, We started with swap by enabling a native swap directly inside the app. So if you want to move from one token to another token, you can do it directly inside the wallet without having to look for an aggregator or DEXs. It's the same on yield product. We started with you with DPoS to enable native staking on most of the DPoS chain, just to let everyone enjoying a high yield opportunity on most of the token they have.
So DPoS chain, mainly all the other chains except for Ethereum.
Exactly. And so the natural path after that was to look for a solution for all the people holding ETH inside their wallets and who were looking for a yield without having the obligation to go for a full validator. Because the biggest limitation on Ethereum before that was, if you wanted to do staking, you had to get your own validator, and it was 32 ETH to be able to set up that. 32 ETH is a lot of money, considering now the price of ETH is above 350. It's close to 100,000 USD if you wanted to stake. If you didn't have this capital, you were not able to stake. So the value you brought with this solution about ETH pooling was to let everyone enjoying the staking opportunities, the staking yield on ETH, without having any minimum on that. So the product has a great traction. After the first months, we had more than 30K ETH. And now we are getting closer to 100,000 ETH staked through the solution. So we had a massive engagement from our user base, our community toward this feature. And I think it's just the beginning. I think during next year, we are going to revamp completely what we call the earn section. It's the section inside the app where you have all the yield products. We are going to make it as clean as possible and as easy as possible to drive even more adoption to that feature.
Yes, and in fact, I think we are integrating in half of the top 50 in the Kiln on-chain platform for seamless e-staking that we power with other wallets, are integrating half of the top 50 wallets. And you got the biggest traction on pooling. And I think one reason you did is because you have this native integration that is very seamless, that gives trust to the user. It's easy to access it, and then easy to see the rewards on the app. So yeah, congrats on making your user base understanding the product.
Exactly. We try to have sometimes kind of a dual approach about being a marketplace, to be fair with every players who wants to offer the services to Trust Wallet. But in the meantime, we also want to be able to provide the best user experience on some dedicated services. So this is why we started the native integration. You have no difference in terms of design or experience or even the flows when you are doing ETH pooling, as you mentioned. Kiln services are fully integrated through API to make the feeling of the user they are staying inside the Trust Wallet experience and the Trust Wallet product without having to interact with external services. So I think this contributed a lot to drive a great success to the feature.
Great. And I think you mentioned it with stablecoin, and I want to come back to stablecoin rewards in general. I think it's less than 4% of stablecoins in general that are getting rewards, that are getting interest or getting yields, versus 50% of stakeable assets that are staked on across all protocols. One of the main reasons we think the stablecoin yield market is 10x at least less mature than the staking market, it's because the accessibility of DeFi through Trust Wallet and some of your competitors is meager or doesn't even exist, because it's complex to integrate, it's complex to monetize. Do you feel that way? And maybe, can you a little bit share about your plan on offering more stablecoin rewards to users?
Yeah, definitely. I think stablecoin is the easiest assets to understand by people. It's something very similar to fiat about what they know in general. So by having that in mind, from my perspective, if someone is starting in crypto, they're going to start with stablecoin first. Maybe with Bitcoin, ETH, but at some point they will have a small portion in stablecoin because it's something reassuring for them. These people who are just starting in crypto, or even if they started, but even if they have some experience, if they want to enjoy yield about it, they will have to find mostly lending markets. You have a multiple of them with multiple of risk, multiple of branding. It's, as you mentioned, it's complicated. If I take someone in the street, I give him some stablecoin, he's gonna just probably to swap them for Bitcoin, for ETH, and the remaining one are just going to stay in the wallet. So the mission we had on that is how we can make and how we can offer yield on stablecoin on the easiest way possible, something very similar to what we did with ETH pudding. We want to be able to let everyone enjoying yield and reward on their stablecoin to kind of copy the experience they can have at the bank with your check account and your saving account. We want to build the same experience on the Web3 way, fully on chain, where everyone is able to, oh, you have stablecoin in your wallet, you want to have some yield, you can get it directly inside the wallet without having to look for an external services.
And do you feel now that we enter in bull markets that there's space for higher type of yields? If you take Ethereum staking yield, for example, BWARD, it's about 3% today, which is even less important than a T-bills and what you can find in TradFi on a very low risk. Do you feel there will be users in staking and seeking for 5, 7, 10, 15% type of reward yield in DeFi?
Of course they are. I think it's like in TradFi. I think we have different users with different appetite for risk and different appetite for rewards. I would say on ETH, when you are doing staking, you are not just doing staking for the yield, but also because at some point you are considering your ETH, the value of the ETH by itself is going to increase. And at the end, when you're going to sell it, the yield you would have earned, the ROI will mostly be the difference in price plus the yield you will win compared to the initial investment you made. So for stablecoin, it's the same. We have some people who are going to look for very safe yields, like T-bill, for example, where today you can have tokenized T-bill to bring these 5.5% yield without any risk to everyone. And some people might look for 7, 8, 10, 15% yield on their stablecoin with a different suite of products. So this is where we will have a mission about doing the education for users by informing them all the yields are not equivalent in terms of risk, to let the user take the decision with the best knowledge they can have about it.
Right. And what are the type of sources, DeFi protocols you want to offer to users? Are there some that you prefer to others? Is there a priority that you're reaching?
When we are looking for yield products, most of the time we are going to look at how safe they are, not just about the risk the user is taking from a market perspective, because of course the reward is correlated to the risk you are taking, but also from a protocol perspective, a best practice, about the team, about the track record, the safety in general. It's something we are considering a lot. So we are open to explore most of the yield opportunities. Currently, one of the very trending one is the real world assets, RWA, where some company are bringing on-chain some of the TradFi product. You can have real estate, you can have all the complex structured products, financial product, you can have stocks, you can have bonds. So we are open to offer all of that inside Trust Wallet, but just on the right way. We need to be sure we are not going to expose our users to a level of risk that they're not willing to accept. And also we need to be careful and to always respect all the regulation around that product.
Right. So do you feel in like the coming years, you will be offering more real world assets on the platform? You mentioned stock, could be real estate, could be any other.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's something we are exploring. I can't say for sure for now, but the number of yield products inside Trust Wallet is going to increase over the next months. And the asset class we are covering probably too. So we are just at the beginning of bringing more yield to the user on the asset they have directly inside the app.
That's interesting. And one other challenge that you have, or at least mission that you want to bring to the world, is onboarding the next billion users on chain in this new way of transacting, in this new economy, sitting on blockchains and accessing through wallets. Can you maybe talk a little bit about how do you bring Trust Wallet to my mother and my grandmother that are not using Web3 today? And these are the dozens of millions of users that will be onboarded through a wallet in the future. But the user experience need to be simpler, need to be simplified and understand by everyone, I guess.
Yeah, for me, the answer on that is very easy. It's more the execution, which is hard. The answer about onboarding a billion more people, it's just a matter about user experience and value proposition. Web3 or Web2 follow the same rule on that. If you have a good product with a strong value proposition and a product easy to use by your audience, you will get a huge success, and a lot of people are going to use your product. So I think where Web3 are kind of struggling now, we are in a very young still and not fully mature ecosystem. So we have a lot of services. The iteration of innovation is very, very fast. Every 6 months we have something new on the market. So it's more about the value proposition is here. A lot of services bring a lot of value for users on the market. To onboard people is how do we want to distribute these products? How do we want to package them? What are the experience we want to give them? How can we make the onboarding and the education way better? So I think this is where it's purely on a product level, how we can highlight the value proposition and to make these very obvious for the next 1 billion people.
One technology that you might be implementing is account abstraction. Why is this important? How can you simplify the UX using account abstraction?
I think to come back to the value proposition, as I mentioned at the very beginning, I think crypto and stablecoin has a bigger value proposition than fiat in terms of services you can do, in terms of effectiveness. The thing is, right now, you still have some pain point and limitation. By design, if you want to send a transaction, if I want to send, for example, a stablecoin to you, depending on the chain where am I will have to pay the gas fees. To pay the gas fees, I will need most of the time the layer 1 token. Let's say I want to send you a token on ETH. If I want to send you USDC or USDT or USDA on ETH, I will have to pay the gas fees in Ethereum. With account abstraction, I will be able to pay the gas fees in the stablecoin I'm going to send you. So for a user, we are going to reduce a lot the number of steps they need to execute in order to be able to use the wallet. So it's one of the gasless brought by the account abstraction is one of the easiest way to understand why this new technology or this new iteration, as I mentioned, is going to bring a lot of value and to make it way more accessible to people. Currently, there is these kind of pain points in the process who make it complicated for people to use. If you can't use your fund because you don't have gas in your wallet, it's very far from what they used to have in terms of experience with their bank account. So it's a big friction. If we can remove that, It's something closer to the habits they have on the way they are doing consumption. And I think it's how we can onboard more people by closing the gap in terms of ease of use with TradFi.
Right. Technically, you could even subsidize the fees so that in the beginning, when they do the first step in the wallet, let's say swap, let's say stake, let's say interact with DeFi, they don't even pay gas fees.
Definitely, we could even. It's also another possibility brought by icon abstraction. These fees could be paid by another entity. It could be us. It could be a partner. Let's say you have a stablecoin. You want to make it more used by people. You can work with us. We are going to promote your stablecoin, but we are going to ask you to bring a better experience to our users. So we are going to promote your stablecoin, but we want, for example, you to contribute to the gas list of the user to improve the user experience. So exactly, there is a lot of things account abstraction is going to bring. And it's definitely something we are going to add to the wallet next year.
Interesting. I'm using Trust Wallet, so I'm eager to see this coming.
Too.
What about the Trust Wallet as a company? How many people are you? How are you organized? Do you have an office? Is everyone's remote? Also, how do you manage all this inflow of demand that you have to deal with, being one of the largest, if not the largest wallet in the space?
To answer in the right order, so Trust Wallets, we are still kind of a small, mid-sized company, I would say. We are close to 100 people in the company. We are fully remote. We don't have official office. Let's say, for example, in Paris, we are 2. We have more people in Dubai, some in Asia, some people in the north of Europe, LATAM to North America. So we are fully distributed, fully remote. But this doesn't, being remote also led us to highlight very passionate people, because when you are remote, you don't have your colleague next to you most of the time. So we need to find people who are self-driven and autonomous about their work. We absolutely need proactive people because we need to rely on them. I can't spend 2 hours every day with every people in my team to be sure they're moving in the right direction and they are doing something. We need people who, when we have a weekly call with them or a bi-weekly call with them, they come with ID, they come with results, good or bad, but they come with something because they try, they iterate, and they are proactive about their day-to-day activity without having someone behind them. So it's something very important in terms of culture at Trust Wallet. We are empowering a lot the ownership. It's not a matter about seniority, about the grade. If someone has an ID, if someone has an intuition, it can build internally the use case for that. It can build his case, go to his direct manager, go to his colleague, try to get the approval on that. If he didn't get them, he can escalate. It's something we have in the culture of the company because we are considering sometimes manager or director can be wrong. So let's say I have someone in my team, he's coming with an ID. For any reason, I'm not giving the approval of that. If he's considering I'm making a mistake, which is fair, I'm doing a mistake, he can escalate to the CEO directly, to the next +1 you have on top of you. And if the CEO say, oh, it's a good idea, the idea is going to bring to life and resources are going to be allocated. Maybe not on the short term, but it's something we are going to work on. And we have absolutely no issue about escalating. When an idea we are considering good should be bring to life. So you can't do that all the time, of course, but it's something we are encouraged inside the company. Ownership is very important.
And you can't have meritocracy of ideas and innovation, which is one of our value, by the way, if you don't have excellent people that knows the space very well, right? Because the marketing person or the legal person or the product person won't be able to grasp this new idea that is good for millions of users in Web3 if they don't know the space?
Yeah, it's very important for all the company, and not just trust, not just in crypto, but it's very important to have consideration for the teammate you had. When I'm working with the marketing team, I'm working with the product, I don't have a second thought about, are they doing something? Are they going in the right direction? I know they are good at their jobs. I know they know what they're doing. I don't need to be behind them to be sure that they're going on the direction. I think it's good. They are the experts on that topic. So it's also something very valuable, because you can stay focused on what you've been hired for, where your expertise is, and you've been able to rely on the talent density in the company is very high. So it's also something very pleasant on a day-to-day.
Makes sense. And I can confirm. After working with your team for more than a year now, what are the opportunities, challenges, focus, priorities for Trust Wallet next year?
I would say in terms of priorities is, as I mentioned, how we can bring more value to our users, how we can anticipate the market shifting, in which direction the market is going to go, how we can start to work earlier on the next innovation trend, on the next product feature we want to imply. I would say the biggest challenge for us, it's ourselves. It's to take the right decision in the right time, and also to be laser focused on the execution, because it's very easy right now on these markets with these absolute intense flow of information to sometimes to lose the focus, because we have the feeling, I'm working on that, but maybe this will bring more users or more revenue. But at some point you have to stay focused on what you are doing. Otherwise, you will keep moving from one topic to another one. So I think this is where the challenge is for everyone in the industry, is to not to stay focused on what you're doing, to not try to shift or to pivot or to move too quickly, just to give it a try to what you spend time to work on.
Yeah, it's something that people outside the industry, or sometimes even inside, don't really understand, is that they see bull market coming, they see prices going up, they understand we're making much more revenue, but for us, it's not foreseeably the best thing for a roadmap. It's not the best thing for focus, because there's so much noise.
Yes, exactly.
Instantly, that you have to cut through the noise, and you have to, and the ones that makes it repeatedly good decisions, good successes during bull markets will definitely manage the cycles well.
Yeah, as you mentioned, building takes time. I remember CZ a year ago during all the meeting he was handling with all the company when he was still there. It was keep saying heads down and keep building. Basically, just as you mentioned, try to remove the noise, stay focused on what you're doing, because at the end it might pay for the company.
Right. Great. Maybe last thoughts in crypto or anything else. What are you excited about these days?
As everyone, I'm happy to see how the market recovered during the last 2 months, I would say, before the US election. I still think we are very early on the market. It's still a very young market. If you look at the charts, for some people, they might have the feeling, I missed the train, or I missed the wave because the price increased again. I wouldn't say that. I think the industry is still very young. If you look at the inflow in terms of cash coming to the industry, we are still very low compared to traditional finance. I know some other words can be more sexy right now. A lot of people are starting to work in AI because it's very trending. But I think crypto is here to stay. I think the value proposition is clearly identified. So for me, it's more about, heads down and keep building.
Heads down and keep building. I love this conclusion. Thank you so much, Pierre, for being on podcast.
Thanks a lot.
And I hope to see you soon.
Thanks a lot, Laszlo, for having me here. And enjoy the exercise.